Now we will study about the water storage tanks. We have two types of water storage tanks, overhead tanks and underground tanks. In a residential building, the storage tank on the roof is basically called overhead tank, like this. For example, we have an apartment and on the roof, top roof, we can install a tank to store water. Sometimes there is inadequate supply of water from the municipality, so we have to store the water for 2 days or 3 days, right? So therefore we use water storage tanks. So this is the example of overhead tank. Now the next we have underground tank. So this is the underground tank. Before entering into the building, we can install it under the garden or any area where you can easily excavate the earth and install the underground tank. It has different shapes. It can be cylindrical and it can be rectangular as well, right? So in the next video, we will discuss about the design of storage tank. Let's discuss about the storage capacity of these tanks. First of all, we have underground tank, which usually has 2 days of capacity, and it depends on different locations as well. All right, in US it has different uh, storage capacity. In Europe it can maybe it is up to 3 days. So usually, to avoid confusion, we will take 2 days. So overhead tanks has the capacity, usually the capacity of overhead tanks can be half day, right? Now there are two methods to calculate the tank capacity. Number one method is People's method, and the second method to calculate the capacity of these water storage tanks is the fixture method. In next video, we will discuss both the method with the help of an example. So underground tank capacity can be calculated by using the People's method. For People's method, I have taken example 1, in which we need to calculate the size of underground tank for a building having 50 occupants for dwelling house. Now, the capacity for one person is 100 liters per day. Okay, from where we get this value? From this table. You have to note it down in your notebook. This table is very important for People's method. All the values you will get from this table. So here for dwelling house, liters per day per head for one person is 100. For office area, for one person we have 25 liters per day. Okay, now I have 50 occupants. Now this is the capacity, 100 liter is for one person, so I will multiply 100 with 50. Simple. To find out the capacity for 50 persons. Now this is the capacity for 50%, 5000. 100 multiplied by 50, 5000 liters per day. Next, you know that underground storage tank has the capacity for 2 days usually, right? In my case it is 2 days. Different locations has different criteria. Some locations has the limit for 3 days of storage. Now I'm considering 2 days. Usually it is 2 days for underground and ground storage tanks. I will multiply this capacity, as you know that this is per day, so I will multiply the capacity with 2 for 2 days. 5000 multiplied by 2, I will get 10,000 liters. So this is the capacity of my building for 2 days. I know that basically this is in liters, so it is basically volume. So I replace the capacity word with volume to avoid any confusion in my calculation. So I know the volume in my case is 10,000 liters. What I will do, I will convert my volume into meter cube. Right now, my units are liters in for volume. I have to convert liters into meter cube. You can use online calculators. Number of calculators are available online. I will provide you the formula. Simply divide the volume by 1000. Convert liters to meter cube divide by 1000. So I will divide my 10,000 liters to 1000. So it will be 10 meter cube. Now to find out the dimensions of my storage tank, the formula of volume is equals to length into height into width. As we get the value of V is 10. Okay. Now as per site conditions, you have to go to your site and check that the two dimensions, you can set your two dimensions by visiting your site, or you can check from the architectural drawings, right? That you can set one dimension as 3 and width is 2. Now by putting these two dimensions in play in L equals to 3, which is length, width equals to 2, V is volume, which is 10. Now you come to know about the conversion. I convert from liters to meter cube just because I need the answer in meters, because my length is in meter. You can convert into feet and find out the answers in feet as well. So after putting all the values in this formula, you can rearrange it. 3 into 2 is 6, 10. I need to know the answer of this height. Now 10 by 6, here 6 is multiplying with h. I will take this 6 into here, it will divide over here, and the answer is 1.66 meters. Now I have all the dimensions to construct my rectangular or cubical storage tank. Height is 1.6, length is 3 meter, width is 2 meter. Okay, the two dimensions must be come from the site conditions, right? And the third one you can calculate by using this formula. Let's discuss another example. Calculate the size of overhead tank for a restaurant having 50 customers. Now the capacity of one person is 60 liter per day in case of restaurant. From where you get this value? From this table, right? Restaurant per seat 60 liter per day per customer per head, right? Now capacity, how many customers? 50 customers. So this is the capacity, 60 is the capacity for one person. So we multiply 60 with 50 to get the capacity for 50 persons. Capacity after multiplying 60 with 50, we get 3000 liters per day. Now overhead storage tank has the capacity for half day, right? This is the standard. For half day, we divide this capacity. This capacity is for one day, but to follow the standard, it should be half. So we multiply by 1 by 2 or divide by, or you can say divided by 2 to get the half value. So the capacity for half day is 1500 liters. For full day is 3000 and for half day is 1500. Now I replace the capacity word with volume to avoid any confusion, because we know that this is basically volume, because the unit of volume are liters. So what I will do, I divide the volume with 1000 because I have to transform the units from liters to meter cube. After transforming, I will get 1.5, right? This is my volume. Now I will use this formula to get the dimension of my storage tank. My storage tank is a rectangular or a cubical shape, so I will use this formula. L into H into W, length into height into width. I will get the two dimensions by visiting the site, actual site, or from the architectural layouts. Okay, now I selected 1 meter length because I get the space of 1 liter in on the roof, and on roof I got 1.5 meter of width. So I need to know the height. I know the volume is 1.5. So after putting all the values of these dimensions, 1.5 volume, length is 1, width is 1.5, height. So 1 into 1.5 is 1.5. Here is 1.5. After rearranging, I will get height is 1 meter. Now with 1 meter height, length 1 meter, width 1.5 meter, I can construct my overhead tank, right? Please remember, in this case this is overhead tank, so the capacity of overhead tank after getting from this table, you must divide the capacity by 2 by sorry 1 by 2, because the standard value of capacity is for half day. Okay, so now moving towards the third example, that this example is a very important example. Calculate the size of overhead tank for a hospital having 100 beds. Capacity for one bed is equals to 200 liters per day. From where you get this value? From this table. Hospital per bed 150 to 200 liters per day per head. In this case our head is bed, so liters per day per bed. I am taking the maximum value because this is the hospital project, so I will take the maximum value to avoid any limitation of water. So 200 liters per day. Capacity is 100 beds, so I will multiply 200 with 100. I will get 20,000 liters per day capacity. Now, overhead storage tank for hospital has the capacity for one full day, right? You know that in previous example that overhead tank always has capacity of half day. So you divide the capacity with 2, okay, or multiply with 1 by 2. But in this case, this is the special case, you will not multiply or divide anything because it is already for one day, so we will use it as it is. The capacity, we will use it as it is. So the capacity one day is equal to 20,000 liters per day. I will remove the capacity word and change with volume to avoid any confusion in my calculation. Now I will divide with 1000 to convert into meter cube. 20 meter cube will be the answer. Now I will use same formula because I want to design a rectangular, you can say, uh, rectangular storage tank. Now after visiting the site, I considered that you can say I don't have any space. Let me clear this thing. Yeah, length is 3 and width is 2.5. All right, now it is correct. When I visit the site, I basically choose 3 meter length because on the rooftop of the hospital I'll get the space of 3 meter, and width I'll get 2.5 meter. There was nothing on the roof, so I decided to choose 3 meter length and 2.5 meter width. Now after putting all these values, I will get this answer. 2.6 meters of height. This is how you will have now 2.6 meter of height, length is 3 meter, 2.5 meter of it you can design your storage tank. Okay, so this is how you can use people's method.